Oliveira in red, Jared Houston in yellow. He will face off with the winner of this quarterfinal, David Hubbard, waiting patiently for his next rival in the semifinal. Here we go. The horn has sounded. 25 minutes in this heat. Jared Houston, the South African, Magno Oliveira, the Brazilian. Who do you got your money on?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot on that one. I don't know. Both of these guys, very proficient riders. Magno and Jared both have an array of skills out in the water. That's a toss-up, Manny. I can't even give you a definitive answer. I'm just going to have to wait and see how this heat plays out.
These are all tough calls coming out to the wire. Quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. It's going to be hard to decide who to put your money on. But if you do, why don't you go to bodyboardbet.com and do your betting there. We have the odds. We have everything located on bodyboardbet.com. What do we got, Jackson?
All right. Right now, here we have, looks like a little paddle battle out in the water. Magno in red, battling with Jared Houston. And
Magno Oliveira, the Brazilian, in the red jersey. This guy, a fierce competitor. He is now under the science team with Mike Stewart. Anybody who comes onto the science team will be groomed to become a more proficient, fluid rider and bring that into the contest arena.
And I was privy to some information yesterday with Magno. He will be spending this winter on the North Shore training with Mike Stewart and the science team to prepare for the 2012 season. So Magno not only trying to finish strong this year, but also looking to put himself in good position for next year's title hunt.
That's right. Again, Magno riding for the science crew, and he likes to roll a 41.5 crescent tail board, and he's out there ripping it through this event so far. Very religious, spiritual rider. Magno always giving praise to God, and just very spiritual.
Yes, very strong faith. And Jared Houston out there in the water with him as well in the yellow jersey. Again, Jared, another one of the title contenders. One of these guys is going to move on. Jerry's hoping it's going to be him. Title contenders are going to get narrowed down in this heat. Jerry hopes he's one of those guys to stay in contention and improve in the rankings.
Yes, Jared Houston is very happy with his line of turbo bodyboards under his waist as he, he just says he likes to go fast and he likes to do airs. So turbo boards have been delivering for this guy, Jared Houston, the South Africans. We know all the South African support is up and awake watching their South African rider, Jared Houston, out in the water. Carl and the Kihiki crew are tuned in, and I know all the South Africans around the world, there's littered across the entire globe. The Hayden in California and Billy Theo in England, and we know the Cornwall crew are also tuning in. Thank you again for tuning in and watching live the last day here at the Encanto Pro Northwest side in Paradise.
We have just under 22 minutes remaining out in the water. Jared Houston and Magno Oliveira out there. Almost like a chess match. We've seen them kind of paddle battle a little bit, but neither of them has caught a wave yet.
You know what? That is what the conditions are today. It's going to come down to the wave action and luck factor because not a lot of giant waves, not a lot of big waves are coming through. So if you're in position, if you have priority, you're going to have a leg up on your fellow competitor. Jared Houston in yellow is the South African. Magno Oliveira in the red jersey from Brazil, waiting patiently. Heat number 2, quarterfinals.
Yeah, and these guys have been cruising around here in Puerto Rico, mixing it up with the locals. The people here have been truly amazing. The pride, the passion, the hospitality, very warm, very inviting people here on the island of Puerto Rico.
Before I even left California to get over to Puerto Rico, I had about 5 to 10 Facebook messages saying, Manny, welcome to Puerto Rico. And you know what? It's just, well, first off, it's hot. So breaking open fire hydrants is one of those things that a lot of the locals like to do. But you're right. The hospitality has been amazing. Throw in the food factor, our goal to lose 10 pounds, out the door. We've been eating a ton of food, a ton of local food, and I'm okay with that.
Yes, and there's a very rich culture and heritage here. The combination of Taino, Spanish, and African influences, one of the liveliest cultures in the Caribbean.
The Taino Indian, the indigenous people who were here before Christopher Columbus came back with his second voyage from Spain. Those guys have been around from the beginning. And in fact, there's over 50% of the locals have the Taino DNA in their blood. Pretty interesting.
Yes, meanwhile, out in the water, it's almost like we have a little bit of a chess match going out there, Manny.
That's right. Priority has yet to be named. The rider who goes for that first wave will give up priority to Jared or Magno. We will see right now who will paddle in for that first wave. If you catch a wave or paddle for a wave, you will lose priority. And right now, priority is still neutral.
We saw a little bit of this.
It is a chess match.
Chess strategy yesterday in the second semifinal for the women's. Lily Pollard basically waiting, biding her time, sitting on priority, and waiting until the very end of the heat to, take that winning wave. And there you can see.
Jackson, check this out, brother. We do have the winner of the first quarter semifinal with David Hubbard and Shaggy. Let's see what you got, brother.
I'm down here with Dave Hubbard, the winner of the first heat of the morning. Dave, congratulations. What an exciting heat.
Oh, yeah, it was a nail-biter to the very end, and we just kept leapfrogging. And like our last battle in Mexico, really close, came down to the last wave.
So, and your last wave was that huge backflip. Tell us about that thing. That was really hard to land, huh?
Yeah, well, I got an 8 for another backflip, and he got like an 8.75 for backflip. I was like, well, this is the move to do, and I got a big section, and I was really stoked to complete it.
Yeah, so this is your best result in the GSS this year. Hey, how does that make you feel?
I was stoked with this points. I'm able to requalify for next year, so I'm really stoked. A lot of weight off my shoulders.
Yeah, I'm sure. I didn't realize that, but congratulations for that. Well, first shout out for the morning.
Yeah, cheers, Moya, if you're watching. Email me on aloha to the family. Yee-hoo.
Back to you guys.
There you have it. Action going on out the back as Dave and Shaggy wrap up that interview. So, again, Jared Houston, Magno Oliveira, that first wave. Jared Houston.
Yes, that was Jared Houston on that first wave, which means priority will now go to Magno Oliveira in the red jersey. So, they've had their chess match out there, and it's Jared Houston striking first. He only gets a 2.5, but it gets him on the board with his first wave. Here we see the replay. Jerry dropping back in, throws a nice forward spin in the pocket up towards the top, drops back down looking for the next section, and he's going to duck out. So a quick forward spin on that wave, enough to get Jerry started.
All right, somebody had to catch that first wave. It wasn't a big wave, but it was a score on their score sheets. We've seen yesterday that a lot of heats had giant scores and some heats slowed down and had low scores. Let's see what Magno Oliveira in the red jersey, the Brazilian, what can he do?
Magno Oliveira driving down the line, roller coastering. It looks like he caught some chop and got bounced and then just free fell into the pocket, bailing his board.
Wow, quick eject button right there. So again, a lot of high-scoring waves can go down in heats like we've seen in the first quarterfinals, and now we're looking at a low-scoring heat in the water right now. So patiently waiting. These guys are actually waiting for that other wave.
All right, so we're going to wait and see. That'll probably be a 1 from the judges on Magno, but at least that does get him on the board.
I would give him a 2.5 for that bailout. Look at that. Let's take another look at this wipeout. It looked like Magno was going to pop out the back, but boom, hits a chop and then throws his board up and over. Look at that wipeout. That was a small wave, but he airdropped like 4 feet. And again, the reef bottom, a lot of urchins encrusted in the reef. So I hope he didn't get hurt. That was pretty scary.
Meanwhile, here we see Jared Houston scratching into this one. Looks like a nice clean right, driving down the line, sets up, hits the section, nice clean roll, resets his line, driving, hits another roll, and it looks like that one's going to shut down after that. But Jared Houston with a couple of rolls on that wave, nice combination of rolls. That should be a decent score for him.
Well, right now, any combination of maneuvers on these waves is going to be a high-scoring wave. Again, low scoring so far with the 10 minutes already passed. So here is Jared Houston, a nice roll, nice clean, nice landing on the face of the wave, comes off the bottom, nice bottom turn, and goes into, he had to kick a little harder at the lip to get that extra push to pull that board around. One of the most fundamental things to go down, one of the most fundamental maneuvers is the bottom turn. Take a look at Magno's bottom turn here.
Here's Magno dropping in, driving off the bottom, heads up to the top, hits a nice arm extended roll, and that's going to be all she wrote on that one as that thing sectioned off on him.
Okay, Magno trying to clock in some more scores, higher scores. Again, 25-minute quarterfinals in the men's division, and top 2 waves will be scored. Woo! Another day in paradise. I asked Jared Houston, do you have any rituals, any lucky charms or mojos? And he pretty much says, another spiritual guy, he prays. So Jared Houston, very spiritual as well. So that's it. Both of these guys, it's a spiritual heat out there.
Well, when you're out in conditions traveling around the world where you're putting your life on the line in heavy waves, it doesn't hurt to have faith in a slightly higher power, I guess.
But both of these guys are asking the same entity for waves and luck. So God's going to have to choose one or the other. So, hey, I would not want to be in God's position right now. And I'll tell you what, there's no way I can be in this position. The splits from Amaury Laverne, the Reunion Island and current world champion on the 2010 World Tour, Amaury Laverne, stretching, exercising, focusing.
Yes, Amaury, one of the most physically fit, one of the most limber guys on the tour. He will be joined out in the water in the next heat by the 2008 champion, Ori Valadown. Both of these guys are still title contenders.
Unbelievable. Amaury Laverne. You know what? I can't get over the fact how flexible this guy is. He and Jeff Hubbard, probably the most flexible riders on the tour. And look at him, just chilling with his legs totally split. I have a cousin who's really young, and he's double jointed all over the place. Nicholas can do the splits, can touch his, throw his leg around his head. And it's unbelievable to see the flexibility and the level of physical, these guys are physically fit.
Well, there's a reason why these guys are world champs. Again, Amaury Laverne in the 2010, the defending world champ, and Ori Valadown, the 2008 world champ. So a couple of world champions, a couple of current title contenders. Meanwhile, out in the water, another couple of title contenders, Jared Houston and Magno Oliveira.
All right, Jared Houston out in the water. I asked him what was the most memorable competition, and he had to think about it just for a second and said the 2010 pipe event last year was his first international final, and he will never forget that. He would love to be back into a final on the IBA World Tour, and it's a possibility. Here he is in the quarterfinals.
Yes, and Jared was looking pretty solid yesterday. He was busting big out in his heats. I think we're going to queue up a little replay of him from yesterday.
All right, Jared Houston, I believe this is one of his big maneuvers, and look at this big bottom turn, and times it perfectly for an air reverse through the lip, actually. Jared Houston actually pulls it off. You can see his neck, his body, everything just coming down to the landing, and all that pressure pulls it off flawlessly.
Yes, and for those of you who want to check out yesterday's heat action so you can see maneuvers like that again, be sure to go to youtube.com/IBA World Tour. Subscribe to the official IBA YouTube channel. Get instant updates in your email. As soon as a new clip or highlight is posted, it'll be in your email box. Also, we have heats on demand. You can catch all of the action from all of this year's events on youtube.com/IBA World Tour.
And I just got a word from Andrew Beakley. He said we finally reached our 1 millionth view, and we appreciate it. We just started our YouTube campaign, I believe, in August, and we're already at 1 million views. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. That's where you're going to get all the action. Action out the back.
And Jared Houston in the yellow jersey up and riding, takes off, driving down the line, punches the roll through the lip, looking to get around this section.
All right, Jared Houston coming around the section. Nice roll from the beginning and comes to the other section on the inside and pulls off another roll. So the roll, the original name is called the El Rolo. That was originated by some of the old school riders, Pat Caldwell, Mike Stewart, pioneering that move. Jared Houston pulling off a El Rolo, or a roll is what a lot of guys call it now. Here is Magno Oliveira.
Magno Oliveira going for the air roll, spin off of that section, still going, resets his line, drives down, hits a roll off the end section. A nice solid wave, quick wave exchange there from Jared Houston, Magno Oliveira, both of them with solid waves. We'll wait to see how the judges score those.
All right, looks like Mother Nature decided to wake up in the halfway part of this heat.
To touch upon what Manny was saying about the evolution of the El Rolo. It was originally called the El Rolo back in the 80s, and then riders like Mike Stewart developed it so that there were almost two variations of it. There was the El Rolo, where you launch off of the outside section, and then Mike Stewart developed the barrel roll, where you could actually be in the barrel and roll out of the barrel by projecting yourself up, around, and forward to slide out of there. So, that was the early development of the maneuver, and these days you see, guys rolling out of the barrel, hitting rolls off the oncoming section, guys punching through the lip with rolls. We've seen big air rolls from competitors. So many variations on a theme with that one maneuver right there, and it can be scored in varied ways.
Yes, and we're going to see all of that today. Barrel rolls, and rolls off sections. But the first roll, one of the pioneers, Pat Codwell, the Californian, big wave rider, the wedge. He was doing it all in the early days, and I'm talking these guys, Mike Stewart, Pat Codwell, Jack the Ripper Lindholm, the forefathers, J.P. Patterson, and that was the beginning. Keith Sasaki dropped me. It was amazing. Check this out. This is the future now. Mitch Rollins in the foreground, unbelievable. Mark McCarthy, the South African, both unreal riders.
Yes, Mitch Rollins, known for his big maneuvers, but he's also developed into a really patient, competent competitor. Here you can see a big move coming up from Mitch yesterday.
Yes, yesterday the conditions were absolutely unreal, and guys were doing big moves like this. Mitch Rollins, big invert on the section, times it perfectly, hits it perfectly, and lands perfectly. Mitch Rollins has come of age as a competitor. Definitely a future world title. Mitch Rollins in the foreground.
Yes, and again, for those of you who haven't been watching the rankings, Mitch firmly planted in that top 8 on the global qualifying series. He will be moving up to the Grand Slam Series Men's World Tour and hunting for a world title next year in 2012. I think he's a viable threat to the title.
For sure. So we will see. Unfortunately for him, he got knocked out from the winner of the first quarterfinal, David Hubbard, yesterday in round number 4. So he was a little frustrated, but he's all right. Jared Houston, Magno Oliveira.
And there you can see the current standings out in the water. Jared Houston in first with a 12.75 combined score. He is followed by Magno Oliveira from Brazil with an 11.5. Both of these guys, again, title contenders. We're going to be touching on this all day long because even though the top 3 guys in the Men's World Tour ranking have been eliminated,
Jeff Hubbard,
Ryan Hardy, Guilherme Tamega, and also Mark McCarthy, who was in title contention, was eliminated, we still have a lot of guys left alive. We saw Jake Stone, another title contender, eliminated in that first quarterfinal. We have 2 contenders in this heat. We have 2 contenders coming up, and in quarterfinal number 4, we're going to see Pierre-Louis Costas. Amaury Laverne and Pierre-Louis Costas have the most to gain. Those guys are the closest to Jeff. There you can see on the beach, Mitch signing some autographs.
And that's the thing. The local riders, the local bodyboarders have just absolutely been stoked to see all the guys they see in the magazines, they see in the videos, they see on YouTube, and here they are on their island, and they are pretty pumped to see all the guys in real life. They're pretty stoked. These guys have been getting mobbed as they leave the competitors area. Jeff Hubbard, all the guys.
Yeah, and we keep showing you shots of the guys hanging out on the beach, hanging out under that small red tent. We had a massive, luxurious competitors area, which had to be moved when the swell came in because it would have gotten washed out to sea if it had stayed where it was at. So we had to move it behind the scaffolding setup. We have a 3-story scaffolding setup, and then the organizers of this event, Natasha and Bianca, actually had to get help from the competitors to move it out of harm's way and set it up again.
Yeah, and that was you were down there, using your muscle and sweat to help move that big old tent and scaffolding, but they're still here. They still have. I actually was there yesterday in the competitors area, and they have couches, a big plasma TV, watching what you are watching, so they get to see the replays and action like this.
Yes, up and riding Magno Oliveira in the red jersey, driving down the line, hits a nice invert off of that section. That'll be his sole maneuver on that wave, but a nice invert on that one.
Yes, he's chasing a 5.76 to get that first place spot from Jared Houston. Here we go, Magno coming off the bottom, And you can see the bottom turn is the crucial fundamental move that all these riders have perfected, and they need to do maneuvers like this. Big, nice, clean invert from Magno Oliveira, the Brazilian.
There you can see Magno paddling back out for his next wave. Looks like he's going to score a 6.5 on his last wave. You were at the box when he busted big. I think we're going to cue that up.
Yes, it was a phenomenal event. Stop number 2, Magno Oliveira. There he is, just going absolutely berserko. He had to take out Ryan Hardy, but he came up short. Ryan Hardy in his home break doing crazy things like that, big rolls. And when people get in that situation of that roll from Ryan Hardy, they're just holding on, not thinking about doing big maneuvers. But it was Ryan Hardy who came out on top on stop number 2, the event winner at the Box Pro. But he had a challenge. Magno Oliveira did not leave anything in his box that he could not use, and unfortunately he did not come out on top. It was
I'll tell you what, when that event went down, I was at home in New Jersey. I was glued to the TV. I think there was like a 12-hour time difference. I was staying up till like 3, 4 in the morning watching competition go down, and that was an amazing final.
How did you do that? How did you stay up so late? Was it coffee, Coca-Cola? I know you like your soda.
Lots of Red Bull and lots of sunflower seeds.
There you go. So if you are watching, and it is the wee hours of the morning, if you can, go down to the 7-Eleven, pick up some Red Bull and sunflower seeds. That'll keep you up. Or you know what? Call them up, tell them if they can deliver it, because you don't want to miss any of the action, especially this heat going down right now. Magno Oliveira with a 6.5 on that maneuver, that big invert, pulls ahead of Jared Houston. Now Jared in the hot seat, 6.25 is what he is looking for on his next wave. Check this out.
We have about 3 minutes remaining in up and riding. Jared Houston from South Africa. It's a nice roll on that section. Comes out of the white water, and that's all she rode on that wave. But Jared trying to answer back to Magno's last wave.
Magno Oliveira from Brazil is still in charge here in quarterfinal number 2. Again, 25-minute heats. Top 2 waves will be scored. One rider will advance on to the semifinal. The winner of this heat will go head-to-head with David Hubbard for semifinal number 1.
Yes, for those of you wondering about the pronunciation of Magno's last name, in Portuguese, the O at the end is pronounced like an U, and an OU is pronounced as an O sound. So if you think I'm butchering his name, I'm actually trying to pronounce it in the Portuguese manner.
Okay.
And
all right.
Just to give a quick little explanation.
Lucky we're not in Brazil. I would be butchering Magno's name all over the place. Look at this. Live action. Jared Houston. Oh, priority, I believe, was in Magno Oliveira's. Oh, nice air roll spin right there from Magno. We're going to talk about the situation that you just seen on the takeoff. Magno kicking all the way to the inside, catches this inside section, and goes for another maneuver, pulls it off. So a great wave for Magno Oliveira. All right, let's make sure that priority was in the right situation, because it was kind of tricky on the takeoff right there.
Yeah, there was a little paddle battle going on for that one. Jared Houston wanted it, but it looked like Magno Oliveira had priority. And here you can see, again, both riders going for it, taking a look. And Jerry had to duck out at the last moment so that he wouldn't get the interference call.
Exactly. Priority was in Magno Oliveira's hands. He is in the red jersey. You saw Jared Houston. If he crossed his line and interfered in any way with Magno, yes, a penalty would get on Jared Houston. Whew, scary. But Jared will not be deemed an interference penalty because he got out of the way. Here, Magno on his last wave, a great wave, comes in at a 7.35. Again, a very slow-paced heat here in quarterfinal number 2. Magno clocking in a 7.35, now solidifying his lead. Jared Houston chasing a 7.11.
Yeah, this has been more of a calculated match out in the water. These guys biding their time, utilizing the priority system to try and find an advantage on their opponent out there.
You know what? You're wearing some cool gear right now, and you can actually get this gear online, ibaworldtour.com/shop, or actually click on the shop button. As you look at the graphic, this is where we are situated right now in this heat. But the black hat and the black IBA t-shirt, pretty cool. I think I'm going to have to pick that up or take it off of you.
I do believe the exact link is shop.iba IBAWorldTour.com.
Okay.
Or if it's easier for you to remember, again, just IBAWorldTour.com, then click on the shop icon. All of the new products and merchandise are there, available for purchase, and you can even pre-order your 2012 IBA World Tour calendar. I'm going to be sure to get my hands on that one, Manny.
Yes, indeed. And, all right, you heard that in the background. That is the end of heat number 2 quarterfinals. And guess what? We have the semifinalists facing off with David Hubbard, Magno Oliveira.
And with that result, not only will Magno be moving on to the semifinals, but he keeps his title hopes alive, whereas Jared Houston's title hopes take a little bit of a hit out there. Again, there's a lot more at play than who's going to win this event. There are 2 chase packs trying to pull up behind Jeff Hubbard in the rankings, and it's like blood in the water. These guys want to do their best to catch up to Jeff and take their shot at the title. There you can see Magno Oliveira